Exile by Taylor Swift featuring Bon Iver. Now, this is a song that's been requested a few times, but I was going to do it anyway. It's one of my favourite tracks off the Folklore album from 2020. It's also one of Taylor's most collaborative songs. Bon Iver is Justin Vernon, and he co-wrote this song together with Joe Alwyn, who at the time was Taylor Swift's partner. He goes by the name of William Bowery and is co-writer of a number of songs on the album. In doing this song, I was in two minds as to whether to do the Long Pond Studios version or the original studio recording. In the end, I decided to do the original studio recording. I like it slightly more, only slightly, and it also has the lyrics. But before we look at that, I thought we'd look at the discussion that takes place in the Long Pond studio sessions between Taylor, Jack Antonoff, and Aaron Dessner about this song and about the writing of this song. Taylor will tell you everything you need to know. So let's begin with that introduction to the song from the Long Pond studio sessions.
I only wish our other two co-writers were here, Justin Vernon and William Bowery.
Justin is one of the greatest ever. William, I never got to meet.
There's been a lot of discussion about William Bowery and his identity, because it's not a real person.
It's not?
Jack.
I'm doing a bit.
The bit, that would have gone on forever.
What?
Who?
When?
So, William Bowery is Joe, as we know. And Joe plays piano beautifully, and he's always just playing and making things up and kind of creating things. And Exile was crazy because Joe had written that entire piano part, that dun 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 dun, and it was singing the Bon Iver part, that I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body, laughing, but the joke's not funny at all. And
lyrics too?
Yeah, he was just singing it the way that the whole first verse is.
Wow.
And so I was entranced and asked if we could keep writing that one. And it was pretty obvious that it should be a duet because he's got such a low voice and it sounded really good sung down there and in that register. And then we're really, really, really big Bon Iver fans, and
so cool.
We know that Aaron knows him, but I was too afraid to suggest it. But I just, when I sent it to Aaron, I was like, this is hopefully a duet. I don't know who with, who would it be with? Who do you think would be good with this? And Aaron was like, I think Justin would love this.
And you're like, really? Okay, that could be interesting.
I couldn't say it.
Really? Is that really what happened?
No, I couldn't say it with words, because if I would have said it and he would have gone to Justin and Justin would have said no, it would have hurt too much.
Interesting.
And when we talked about it, I was like, I think he's gonna be really inspired by this. And then we sent it to him, and he was. And then the process of working on it and what he sent back. And he wrote, like, you didn't ask him to write anything, but he wrote this, like...
He wrote this amazing bridge. He wrote, so step right out, there is no amount, and like that whole bit. I kept thinking this isn't really going to happen, like Justin is going to change his mind about this because this isn't a part of my reality. There's no way that this is going to happen. He's gonna record the vocals and then decide he doesn't want to be on the record, and then that just never happened. Like he just is on the album and he's just the coolest, and that's what's happening.
So a very collaborative song. There are very significant contributions here from Justin Vernon and Joe Alwyn too. Well, let's jump into the studio version of the song with the lyrics.
I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body, laughing, but the joke's not funny at all.
So the song is about the end of a relationship between two people when She, in this relationship, has apparently moved on and he hasn't. And in part it plays out as a dialogue between them.
I can see you standing, honey, with his arms around your body, laughing but the joke's not funny at all. And it took you 5 whole minutes to pack us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hall.
So he's observing how quickly she's moved on. It's only been 5 minutes and she's already moved on, and he's stuck there holding this love in the hall. He sees her with someone else, but he's clearly still in love with her.
And it took you 5 whole minutes to pack us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hall. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You were my town, now I'm in exile seeing you out.
Taylor often interlinks place and relationship, and here this relationship is being described as a place. He's singing, "You were my town, now I'm in exile, seeing you out." She was a place where he once lived, but she's moved out, she's moved on, and he's still struggling with that. Now, like most people who listen to this song, I really like Justin's vocals here. I really like the richness and depth. There's also the image here of the film. This is a movie that is telling a familiar story. They've been here before, both of them, I guess individually, in similar situations, and it's playing out again.
I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You were my town, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before.
I can see you staring, honey, like he's just your understudy, like he'd get your knuckles bloody for me.
So now we hear her response to this. She realizes that he's still in love with her. He's jealous of this new relationship. He would step in and protect her. He can't let go. For him, this new fellow is just an understudy. He's not the main performer here. He still sees himself as that.
I can see you staring, honey, like he's just your understudy, like he'd get your knuckles bloody for me. Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes add insult to injury.
From her point of view, she's given this relationship so many chances, so many opportunities, and it was like balancing on breaking branches. So it was always a precarious position that she found herself in. And for her, this relationship's been like that for a long time, and he apparently can't see that. And what she sees in his eyes now just makes it worse. He still doesn't see it, it seems, to her.
Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes add insult to injury. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore, so who am I offending now? You were my crown, now I'm in exile seeing you out. I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door.
While he's asking, what am I defending now? She's asking, who am I offending now? This relationship is over as far as she's concerned. So who is she offending by being with this new person?
I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore. So who am I offending now? You were my crown, now I'm in exile, seeing you out. I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door.
So step right out. There is no amount of cry I can do for all this time. We always walked a very thin line. You didn't even hear me out. You never gave a warning sign. All this time.
Now they begin this beautiful back and forth where it becomes so clear that they're not understanding each other. They're not meeting each other. He's arguing that he couldn't possibly know what was going on in her mind. She's arguing that she gave him all these signs. As far as she was concerned, she was communicating clearly, if in a subtle way. But he read none of this. Is that a reflection on the different ways in which men and women communicate in relationships? Is that true of relationships in general? In this bridge, though, he does acknowledge the fragility of the relationship. They walked a very thin line, but clearly he didn't think it was as bad as she did.
So step right out. There is no amount of cry I can do for all this time. We always walked a very thin line. You didn't even hear me out. You never gave a warning sign. All this time, I never learned to read your mind. I couldn't turn things around, 'cause you never gave a warning sign. So many signs, so many signs, so many signs.
Didn't even see the signs.
I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore.
So what am I defending now?
You were my town, now I'm in exile, seeing you out.
I think I've seen this film before, so I'm leaving out the side door.
So step right out. There is no amount of crying I can do for all this time. We always walked a very thin line. You didn't even hear me out. You never gave a warning sign. All this time, I never learned to read your mind. Couldn't turn things around, so now I give a warning sign.
I think that's a really interesting and good example of collaboration in a song, seeing how the different elements of the song have been brought together. And Taylor described some of that process in the previous discussion. It's difficult not to speculate, given subsequent events, about what this song might have meant to both Taylor and to Joe Alwyn at the time of writing it. Some of what's expressed in this song is expressed in later songs too by Taylor after the breakup with Joe. How she was giving him signals, she was giving him messages. I think "You're Losing Me" is a good example of that. He's not hearing her, he's not seeing the problem, he's not seeing what's wrong. And in light of that song, You're Losing Me, and what subsequently happened in the relationship, can't help thinking that here Joe and Taylor are actually talking to each other, expressing their different sides of this relationship. Of course, that's just speculation, and perhaps it wasn't on their minds at all at the time. But it's fairly easy to see it in those terms now. I think Justin and Taylor worked very well together here, not just in terms of the songwriting, but in terms of their vocal performance and that lovely dialogue that takes place expressing that lack of communication, that failure of communication. So there it is, Exile by Taylor Swift, Joe Alwyn and Justin Vernon. I hope you enjoyed the song, and I hope you enjoyed my brief discussion of it.